Now, Ron DeSantis has formally confirmed he's running for president of the United States. The governor of Florida is seen as Donald Trump's leading rival for the Republican nomination. Joining us now, the Democratic strategist Calvin Dark in Washington, D.C., and the Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian in Nevada. Hello to you both. Thanks for joining us on the programme and staying up, especially Amy, to you first of all. Is he going to give President Trump a run for his money?
Yes, and I believe that's why we see a plethora of attacks coming from Donald Trump himself on his own social media platform. While the event was actually taking place on Twitter, Donald Trump could not control his fingers once again and unleashed about a half dozen or so attacks. And then his email blasts were also relentless, just coming in one right after the next.
Calvin, who do you think that Joe Biden fears most?
Well, I don't think that Joe Biden fears either DeSantis or Trump. Honestly, I don't think that Biden is going to get afraid until the Republicans nominate someone who can appeal to those beyond who go to a Trump rally. Both Trump and DeSantis are far too much to the right and too divisive. So I think that Biden and a lot of the Democrats are sitting back and just watching this unfold.
Amy, who do you think the President Biden, should be more fearful of?
Well, it's a combination because each have pros and cons. And I think Donald Trump obviously has the stronger base. It doesn't matter which poll you look at, pick a poll, any poll. And he's right now 30 to 40% ahead of Ron DeSantis, which is almost a landslide. But, you know, much can happen in a short amount of time, especially with all of the problems that he still has to overcome, dealing with things like hush money to Stormy Daniels, and the list goes on and on. And so is he even going to make it to the primary? Who knows? But I think as far as somebody who's going to be more coherent, who can actually complete a full sentence, and somebody who is able to be a little bit more structured and thoughtful, it would be Ron DeSantis.
Calvin, some might say that the biggest challenge for President Biden is the economy.
Yes, I think that for every election, no matter who's in the White House, the economy is always the number one issue. But one of the things I was looking for in the announcement with DeSantis was obviously he complained about, I think, what he called the Biden economy, but I didn't really hear anything that would work to solve it. He talked a lot about what he did in Florida, how, you know, the economy is booming there. But what he didn't mention was that he has a Republican supermajority in the legislature, so he doesn't have to actually compromise or really negotiate on policies like he would if he was president. So I don't really think he gave an answer to what he would do economically if he were to be president and win over Biden.
Ron DeSantis has got lots of challenges ahead. I think it's fair to say, Amy, not least his battle with Disney and the situation that we find ourselves in Florida.
No, you're correct. And I think he's got several issues, not just Disney. I think the fact that he passed the heartbeat bill, which is at 6 weeks for an abortion. I'm pro-life, but I know a bunch of people who are pro-choice, and right there, that makes people nervous. I've had 4 children myself, and you usually don't go in for your first appointment to an OBGYN till you're around 10 weeks. And you usually don't even make an announcement that you're pregnant until you're 12 weeks. So that is concerning for a lot of people who are pro-choice, and that does tend to be a one-issue voter type of situation. The other one is the Second Amendment, where he also passed where you can open carry without a permit. And here in the state of Nevada, we are very pro-Second Amendment across the board, despite party affiliation. And I spoke with our current governor, who is actually a Republican, but former sheriff, and he said he would not pass something similar to that.
And to that end, Calvin, according to some close to President Biden, he thinks that he can use this Florida blueprint, if you will, against Ron DeSantis and have a shot at winning Florida. Florida always so important come to the presidential election time.
Well, winning Florida for Joe Biden will be a challenge because Florida has changed. It's not a swing state anymore. But now using Florida as a blueprint for what DeSantis would try to do, one of his slogans is "Make America Florida," which I have many friends in Florida, but I don't think anybody ever asked for that outside of Florida. I think that will be effective because a lot of the things that he's done and is proud of won't work across the country, and that will make him not as electable as Biden will be.
Yeah, when I say Florida blueprint, I think that the point that they're making is this is what you're going to get if you vote for DeSantis, and this is really not what you want for the president of this country.
Exactly. And I think that Amy talked a lot about some of the conservative policies that I don't think represent where most Americans in the middle are. But I also think that Ron DeSantis has a tendency to, be a little mean, especially, mocking diversity, mocking certain minority communities. And I think that Americans across the political spectrum who may actually agree with some of his policies, we're tired of the meanness and the owning the libs. And that's one thing that you can't say about Joe Biden. He's not a mean-spirited person. So I think that's also going to be something that Ron DeSantis is going to have to watch out, not just the policies he's trying to promote.
Okay, Amy, if not DeSantis, if not Trump, then whom from your side?
That's a very good question, because then you're looking at two people from South Carolina. You've got Governor Nikki Haley and Senator Tim Scott, who just recently announced. And on top of that, then you've got somebody who's up and coming, Vivek Ramaswamy. And I know a lot of people find him to be a breath of fresh air on the right, but he doesn't have enough name recognition yet. And so many are just getting the introduction to him. So I think really it's up for grabs. And that's why you're seeing so many people come out right now. And it's everybody right now against Donald Trump. And so you have the vultures circling because they know that there's a possibility for a new voice.
Okay. Very quickly, favorite Tina Turner song?
Oh my goodness. Well, I like what you guys played going out. What's Love Got to Do with It? I mean, that's the all time.
Yeah. Calvin, what about you? Very quickly.
Well, before I came on, I was doing my honored homage to Private Dancer. So that's one of them, but it can be several.
We should have come to you earlier. It's good to talk to both of you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme. Thank you. Stay tuned for more here on Sky.